You're listening to the official Minnesota Wild podcast, presented by Acrisure.
Jones and Taves on the draw to the right of Volstead. The final 4.7 of the period. Taves wins it. Morrissey, a shot, he scores. It's 3-0. As Taves won the draw, they got it to Morrissey, and he absolutely roofed it.
High slot one-timer, top shelf stick side, and in the span of 8 seconds, a 1-0 deficit turns into a 3-0 deficit. That's where we sit after 20 minutes in St. Paul. The Jets all over the Wild after 20 minutes of play. Get those questions in. We're giving away tickets to a future Minnesota Wild home game. 64686. You could be a big winner if you get your question on the board to Mr. Tom Reid. Tom, what happened in that first period?
Well, the fact is that they scored 3 and Minnesota scored none. That was the problem there. But 8 seconds between those last 2 goals also. Not winning the draws again in the defensive zone. But that penalty to Foligno really hurt because you're down 1, and all of a sudden you have a lot of time when Foligno takes that penalty, and now you got 2-man advantage. And with a firepower team like the Jets, they've got some guys who can put the puck in there. They did exactly that. But they come back here, and as good as Minnesota was at the beginning of this, they have nothing to show for it.
Yeah, right. The Wild opened it up, out shooting the Jets 10-0. They go down 5-on-3, put the Jets on the power play. They end up scoring. They outshoot the Wild 9-1 the rest of the way and score 3 times in the process. Wild down 3-0 after 20 minutes. Let's get to those questions. Text us 64686. We got 2 Tom Reid hotlines coming your way tonight, and plenty of opportunities to get inside the Grand Casino Arena for an upcoming Minnesota Wild game. Tom, let's go to this one. The absence of Jonas Brodin. Obviously, that's going to be huge. How do they get by without not only Brodin, but now Jules Eriksson as well?
Yeah, they're missing some key opponents, players, I should say, to go against the opponents here. And the one thing is Minnesota's, they got to pick up the slack. I mean, they're not here. And you know what? Here's their cards. This is all you're getting, and make the most of it, and that's what the coaches have to do. But the players have to respond to that challenge also. They've got to pick up the pace. When you know where you're losing some of your key players, somebody has to help out. Not individually, but collectively, they can make a difference. So hopefully Minnesota will come out in this second. They can't be very happy in that locker room right now, I would not think. I would think they'll come out with guns a-blazing here in the second period.
Yep, for sure. 612 area code that says, Tom, 2 games in a row, the Wild give up a late goal in the period. Tonight it happens twice in that opening frame. How do the Wild bounce back from what could be perceived a backbreaker, although you don't know how big of a backbreaker it is until the game's over and you look back in reflection?
We've seen a number of these situations with Minnesota this year where they've given up late goals in a period. It doesn't matter which period it is, but they give them up late, and that's what they cannot afford to do. And you know what? You just got to put it behind you. You know what? They had a good start. They know that, but they get no reward for it. Now they've got to do something here to get back in this game, because down 3 goals in this league is really hard to come back from.
This is a ill-timed question from the 320 area code, but I'll throw it out there anyway. The goaltending tandem for the Wild, Philip Gustafsson, Jesper Volstead, how good have they been this season? And I know the Wild are down 3-0. I don't know that I put much of this on Jesper Volstead that opening 20 minutes.
Absolutely not. I mean, Minnesota made some drastic mistakes here. First of all, the double minor penalty, they're not winning the draws, and those are 2 areas. I was watching them this morning at the practice, and they were working on the draws, trying to get their rhythm down and so on. It takes a lot to win the draws, but Minnesota hasn't got that guy to take the draws. In fact, was it Young who lost? Who lost the last draw?
The last face-off? Yeah. It must have been because Taves won it, and it must have been for the Wild. It must have been Jones. Yes.
Yeah, it was
Ben
Jones. And usually he's very good on draws. If you look at his numbers, he's well over 50%, which is good, but you know what? At a certain time, you start to lose those draws, and all of a sudden you're chasing.
But there's also something to be said. I know Jonathan Taves is a little long in the tooth, but that guy can still play, and he's one of the game's best when it comes to winning faceoffs.
Well, you talk about him in faceoffs also. He is one of those guys. Right now, coming into this game, his faceoffs, 63.1%.
I mean, jeez. And he's been doing it his entire career. So, Ben Jones has been very good on the faceoff dot, but when you're going up against a guy that's like that, a future Hall of Famer, no doubt about it, and what he's done against the Wild, now a goal and an assist tonight, 19 goals, 55 points in 57 games all time against Minnesota. He's up there in Jerome McGinley territory, Sedin brother territory, Sakic and Hayduk territory in Wild all-time killers.
Yeah, no question. He's been absolutely terrific for the franchise, obviously, for Winnipeg. Having a chance to play in his home country and near his home city also is a big plus for him.
From the 218 area code says, no question, but thank you very much for the opportunity you gave my son and I to witness our first live Minnesota Wild game. So congratulations to them. They must have won tickets to a Minnesota Wild home game, and they're getting an opportunity to take it in tonight. From Richard, transplanted from St. Paul, Quinn Hughes, is he settled yet, Tom? Is he still living in that St. Paul hotel? And what did you think of the Hughes family reunion Monday against the Devils?
It was great. Mom and Dad flew in for it. That was nice to see them here, and at the same time, it was great. Unfortunately, Minnesota did not win that game. The Hughes boy from Minnesota didn't win that game, who was playing for Minnesota, and right now, you know what? It's always fun. I'm sure it's mixed feelings for parents too when they come and they get offsprings on each side and see where it goes. But the three good hockey players, and they can thank their mom for giving them skating lessons when they were kids because it's paying off for them now.
From Limey and Franny, hard to say anything bad about Kirill Kaprizov. Now 25 goals on the season, second on the team in goals, having another wonderful year points-wise. But does he seem off to you here lately? Is there something going on with Kirill Kaprizov that should worry us in the long run?
Well, I have to agree with the listener because of the fact I don't think he's been up to par that we expect from him. I mean, he's got a big contract coming out next year. Not that money is the difference here, but we're expecting him to give us more for that value, and hopefully that will be the case here. We need him drastically for this hockey club to be successful. We need all the guys, the key players, to make this team better.
Yeah, especially when you're out two key pieces in Brodin and Jules Eriksson. All hands on deck, and especially now, Wild down 3-0 after 20 minutes play. Tom, thank you very much. We'll do this again after the second period.
Thank you, Kevin.
Tom Reid from the Al Shaver Press Box. Wild are down 3-0. Someone's going to get a pair of tickets, though, to an upcoming Minnesota Wild home game. You might get that text. If you do, celebrate and rejoice. If you don't, well, you still have an opportunity in the second intermission, and you can still get your own tickets at wild.com/tickets. Again, Wild down 3-0 after one. We'll recap the carnage after this. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Grand Casino. The best place to go for all your Minnesota Wild audio needs is the official Minnesota Wild podcast presented by Acrisure. Everything Minnesota Wild related, including highlights, press conferences, players, coaches, general managers, and more. It's available on the official Minnesota Wild podcast presented by Acrisure. It's all just a click away at wild.com/podcast.